basically, Geyser works both online, on chain and on Lightning. When you're funding. So if you're trying to fund, you can always send Lightning or on-chain payments. But when it comes to when you want to create a project, you create a project on Geyser to receive money, to receive Bitcoin. What you do is you attach your Lightning address. So there are all these Lightning wallets that provide what's called a Lightning address, which is an email-like identifier that looks like email, but it's for sending Satoshis. And you create your project by plugging your Lightning address. And then what happens is that every time somebody funds you on Lightning, it goes straight into your Lightning address. Or if somebody funds you on chain, we swap that over to Lightning and send it to your Lightning address. So as a creator, it's incredibly convenient because you have one address and all the funds go to that one address. But then if people fund you from Lightning or on chain, that's sort of kind of their problem. That's sort of, that's how they choose to pay you. But as a creator, you don't have like two different places for you to manage two different wallets. It all goes to one wallet. And it's an incredibly powerful, powerful tool. So in the sense, Geyser works in both ways. Now, the second question you ask is, why did we choose to kind of prioritize Lightning over the base change? And it's a really good question. And there's really trade-offs, right? So on-chain Bitcoin is obviously the best tool when it comes to self-custody, censorship resistance, owning your assets, right? So that's ideally where you might want to make it the more secure system. But what we noticed is that most creators, and actually that's how we started. We started that every project on Geyser had to have a node, a voltage node. And what we realized that it's hard to work on both systems, right? So with the voltage node, you receive funds on chain and you receive them on Lightning. So people had to learn how to open channels, which was what we noticed is that people just weren't ready for that. They just weren't ready for just the sheer effort, time, but also the cost of opening channels, managing liquidity, and it's money cost, but also time cost. Now the question then is like, why don't we just make the on-chain address the main recipient of all the funds? Well, it's not great because if you're sending one SAT, you can't really send one SAT and swap it into on-chain. That's just incredibly costly. So it doesn't really work like that. It couldn't be a great system with that either. But also we noticed that 99% of projects, 100% almost, are all like Bitcoiners that want to do good work, that want to do the creative stuff, that want to do education. They don't want to be doing a protest, or like raising funds for, whatever censorship resistance wants. But just to kind of entertain their own creative projects. But also we were super recommend. So while people receive money in their Lightning addresses in their Lightning wallet, we do recommend them that they move their funds away, especially if they have a high amount of funds, to move them over to their on-chain address. That said, it is very much a trade-off, and we chose to prioritize convenience, usability, making Bitcoin more accessible to more people around the world, rather than like insane censorship resistance, which, by the way, already tools exist for that. So BTC Pay Server is a great tool if you want super censorship resistant, basically run a campaign on your own node. You can do that there, right? And actually, you can still use Geyser in a censorship resistant way by plugging your node. And you can plug in your node, and actually Geyser is free for you. So if you plug your node, Geyser is free. If you plug in your Lightning address, we take a 2% commission. So we still incentivize you to do what's better, right, from a censorship resistant perspective, but really trying to, increase usability of Bitcoin and Lightning. Last point is that actually Lightning addresses are not inherently custodial and lack censorship resistance, but you can set up a Lightning address using Voltage. You can set up a Lightning address using BTC Pay Server. You can set up a Lightning, and also we're hoping to see many more Lightning wallets integrate Lightning addresses like Blix is attempting to do so. Breeze, I think it's also on their roadmap. So we will see Lightning addresses come up in non-custodial wallets that will add an insane amount of added value, because then people can plug in their Lightning addresses using their custodial Lightning wallets. And the final thing is, the cool thing about that is that what we're seeing, and part of the vision here, guys, is that if you look at what Strike is doing in the United States and Africa, if you look at, Bottle Pay in, Bottle Pay now is closing, but Bitnob in Africa, Blink in El Salvador and in South America, like they have these custodial on-ramps to fiat, Lightning custodial wallets with on-ramps to fiat, which makes it so that it's incredibly powerful then to send sats. So if you plug in your Blink wallet, you can auto-convert that into your local currency, right? So you can essentially start receiving crowdfunding contributions in Bitcoin or even in Nigerian Naira, and auto-convert that, and goes to Lightning, and it auto-converts into your local currency. So we believe that these Lightning banks are the true neobanks that will be the banks of the future, because they have ramps to Bitcoin, but also on-ramps into fiat, and allow that, and Geyser sits as the interface that sort of connects these different communities. So yeah, that's sort of what, kind of how it fits into our grander vision. So Lightning also scales. Lightning is this incredible technology that makes instant payments seamless. It scales to the world, like on-chain just doesn't, right? It just doesn't scale. We can't onboard the entire world on-chain, right? It would raise the cost of transactions infinitely. So yeah, I mean, I gave you a lot of reasons. We thought about this a lot. I mean, Stelios really kind of went crazy and thinking of solutions took us months. But I'm happy to say that we were the first ones to really integrate Lightning addresses in such a pivotal way. And I think after that came Demis with Zaps, also integrating Lightning addresses. But yeah, it's incredibly powerful technology, and we're happy to have been part of the pioneering of this experimentation.